Aloha, beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Sunset Beach on the north shore of the island of Oahu in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and we are on the famous, fabled North Shore, the second stop of the 33rd annual Vans Triple Crown of Surfing, and sure enough, the 41st annual Vans World Cup. This event right here is the 9th and final WSL QS 10,000 qualifier for 2015. So important is this event. David Stanfield with Ross Williams. Pedro Rica also out in the lineup, another seed that we haven't seen. And this is Dusty. Take a look. He's a barrel hunter. He can do it all in the air, under the lip. A couple of nice turns, big hack and a free fall down the face. A lot of warble and backwash. Dusty in and out. Probably a good move to get things started. Next up, Santiago Muniz. Mar del Plata, Argentina, the 23-year-old. And Santiago is looking for a nice section here. And that wave just changes what you think he's thinking. We're kind of all, and that wave changes on you so quick.
Oh yeah, you know, Sunset is a very skitsy lineup. You know, the wave itself, you know, you're just kind of like, it's a, really is like riding a wild bull. You have to hold on for dear life, but guess what? If you're going to get points from the judges, you still got to bring it home with some big moves. So it's a balancing act.
The contest window, 12-day window, ends December 6th. We might finish early. Let's take a look at Dusty's first wave. Not an easy takeoff.
Speaking of riding a wild bull, you can see just standing up out here when you take off on that classic West Bowl is a big deal. Big old hook right there on the inside bowl. You can see almost got airborne as he free fell off of that turn. So really nice wave there. Even though it's one maneuver, he should get rewarded pretty good. And then behind him, Santiago, brother of Alejo Muniz. Pretty famous brothers right there. And he's going to get one little smooth wrap before that wave kind of hits the inside bowl there. You can see all the chops right there. Kind of a messy set, so he's not going to get too many points for that.
These waves, these conditions, it's humble pie. You're taking off on a wave that's already broken. This whitewater takeoff, instead of having a compression dings in your board from your feet, your heels, it's from your ribs. You take a pounding trying to get up.
Yeah, it's true. And it's because these guys are kind of on the inside, and a lot of times they'll catch a whitewash to catch a wave.
This is Mitch Cruz now. Cruzy, the 25-year-old. Currumbin, the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, number 52 in the rankings, and looking to climb up as well. Living in Portugal, Cascais. For the last 5 years, he's been living in Portugal. We still say he is Brazilian, a former world champion. And take a look at the goofy footer. Cascais, Portugal, great family man, and a powerhouse surfer winning the world title in the junior ranks of the WSL in 2000. And he won at Makaha, of all places. Remember the event that was held at Makaha?
Well, nice start there for Pedro. Really smooth snap. You can see the face of that wave was really clean to begin with, but was not able to finish that wave off on the inside bowl, so it'll just be an okay score. And here, let's see that first snap. Watch this rail turn. Nice, smooth little wrap back into the pocket. I like his style and his technique. He gets really low to the deck of his boards as he kind of rips into his carbs. Beautiful bottom turn right there. Very unfortunate, though, for Pedro. He caught that rail as he was coming out of that last maneuver. It would have been a solid score.
Compared to sitting out the back where I sat for my first wave, but you know, there's so many good waves out there, it's just hard to find them.
Having a great year on the QS, currently 22nd in the world, still a chance to qualify for next year's championship tour. How much are you paying attention to the current standings and what you need to do here?
You know, I'm just having fun now. I kind of, there was a point where I did pay a lot of attention to it, and I think that it probably didn't do me any wonders. I started to get nervous and think I possibly could do it the first year on the QS, but you know, I'm just going to have fun. I'm really enjoying surfing good waves and some substantial size to it, so I'm just going to enjoy myself and hopefully come out with something that's amazing.
Very mature, ready to take on the world 20-year-old. As we take a look, as we see our top seed, Dusty Payne. Dusty's first wave of 5.17. He is not in the lead, though. Santiago Muniz, he's chasing him. But with this wave and moves like that, can Dusty ride out of it? Boy, a wave threw him another curveball.
That was pretty nuts right there. Dusty Payne, you see a caddy just getting one on the head. Went for the Hail Mary. That was a big move. He actually wiped off speed and just went for a nice hook. Wow, who was that? I think Mitch Cruz just bore that thing right on the head.
Mitch Cruz in blue. You're trying to spot colors. Now, what thing is so great here, if you're down at the beach and you go, I didn't bring my binoculars, what did Vans do? They brought a big screen TV, a huge digital, so you can see these replays like we're looking at right now.
Okay, so this first hook is really nice from Dusty. Nice carve right there. Beautiful rail surfing. And now he, aggressive maneuver. He wiped off speed and went for a vertical snap right on the inside bowl at sunset. But the thing that makes those maneuvers so hard is just to finish it. You know it's going to have a lot of feedback from that deep water. It's going to give you bumps. So just to ride out of that thing, it really is like riding a wild animal. It's tough to make it.
A little hung up at the top. Maybe some wind had to do with it. Maybe a little backwash. Not the exact speed he wanted to make the next drop.
It was just the choice of moves. He actually wiped off speed and then went for that vertical kind of stab off the top, which was a crazy choice of maneuvers for, a double overhead wave at inside sunset.
Well, coming up next is going to be a surfer that has won this event, the last Hawaiian to win, 2013, Zeke Lau. And he has got a shot at doing what Dusty Payne's trying to do here, get some big scores and make the big show, do the qualifying through the QS rankings. Dusty chasing some open face here, and it's survival. When we see Dusty at full speed like that, if you ride motocross, you say, this guy's going through the whoops all across this wave. It's really not as smooth as you think from the naked eye, but if you move in close with the telephoto, there's just a lot of warble and bump on this wave.
Yeah, you got to have a real strong set of legs underneath you just to handle all those bumps. As you see, nice medium-sized wave here for Dusty. Look at the face of this wave, nice and smooth, clean little wrap. You can see him eyeballing that inside bowl. He wants that wave to kind of back off so that he can pull into the barrel. Obviously, that wave did not take shape, so he kind of got relegated to just making his time and getting around to the channel, looking for who's further out in the lineup.
There we go, there's a paddle, and dropping in Mitch Cruz. Cruz using his first priority, and it starts to pick up some speed, and not having the heat he wants.
No, he's trying to draw that really high line so that he can make it to the inside bowl, and unfortunately caught that outside rail.
So you don't see a lot of extended floaters here, do you?
And Mitch snapped his board right there. On a pretty small wave, too. He'll be salty, so he's going to have to burn some minutes off the clock here, which is not good for him because he doesn't really have any big scores to keep yet. Nice big high line right here. He's just trying to get around this section, so he's really on purpose going that high so that he could drop down and get a ton of speed. But he just played it a little too close to that lip, and it got him. And here we go. Looks like a paddler, Pedro.
No, I believe Santiago. Santiago using second priority, and a long wall ahead of him. It's a huge wall, and committed to it. He's not going to make the shoulder, and it's going to back off. He's basically in the channel. That thing really swung wide. There's the pencil dive to get off, stop his forward progress. He's going to take it on the head. Pedro Henrique directly in front of us towards the channel on a massive wave. His second wave for the surfer now living in Cascais, Portugal. Brazilian, originally from Rio de Janeiro. And a lot of foam and white water. I can't believe how these waves are swinging. Does that mean maybe a new angle? It's shifting again to the west.
Well, the tide is dropping, so as it bottoms out, it will be a little more shallow on the inside bowl.
And then sometimes there's so much traffic, you got to get off your bike. Here we go. As we go out into the lineup, we take a look at Mitch Cruz. It's been a difficult heat for Mitch, and again, that wave has different sections, and he can't find an opening.
And it looks like he just had two boards out there, and obviously he's on his backup now, so hopefully he doesn't break number two.
I don't know if you can remember this. I think it was in Australia where the surfers tied up their spare boards on a buoy, and I remember a surfer broke a board and went over and used somebody else's board.
Guilty.
Yeah, guilty as charged.
I have done that in West Oz, yeah, and ended up beating the guy, and then had to ride home with him on an airplane. That was uncomfortable. There he is. He made it to the beach.
Dusty's looking at this. He can't really paddle for it. Well, he is now. Is he going to lose priority if he backs off? No, he commits to it. Here is Dusty Payne, the 26-year-old from Maui. Amazing surfer, big talent. Not probably 100% in terms of physical strength, and there he does the pencil dive, and that still looks like it hurts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so difficult to find a wave that just will kind of lay back for you and perform. You know, he was really scrambling in there. It looked great when he took off, but it shut down. So here's the good news for Dusty. He's not the one that's on the hot seat. He doesn't need a score.
Because Pedro Henrique just needs a 307. He sits in second priority, and he's kind of sitting under him, it looks like.
Yeah, it's he's going to play the game there of holding him off with priority, which is kind of the position he's in that's available for him. For Santiago, he wants to protect that second place, and here he goes. He's scrambling.
Santiago. And here he goes. A couple of rail releases to get some speed. It gets a little crazy there. So he's looking for a replacement score of his 2.83. At the very least, he kept somebody off that wave. Well, Dusty paddled for it, didn't want it. Now it's never for Pedro Enrique. In the third spot, needs a 307. Wow. And an avalanche of water comes down on him. He straightens out, and that is his campaign. Will it be enough to overtake Santiago?
3.07. I really like the way Pedro surfs. He's got great technique and style. Gets so low to his board. Kind of looks like a Tom Carroll. But just the one move there. 3.07. Sketchy at best to get that score.
We're down to 5. The countdown is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And listening for the horn. Off in the distance, the horn blares. 1 horn to start, 2 to stop. We have stopped this heat, and advancing through, Dusty Payne is on the march with Santiago Muniz. This is going to be good.